by a group called Muscadine Bloodline. I appreciate my buddy Charlie, him and Gary, Muscadine Bloodline. They're an up-and-coming country artist that is just big time right now. They've opened for a lot of big acts. They were kind of coming up the ranks with Luke Combs. Of course, we know Luke Combs is just blowing up right now.
Oh, yeah.
But Muscadine Bloodline, they're a group that I kind of picked up on here a while back, and I put you on them, and I put some other people on them, and I'm just a big fan of theirs. And I was talking to
They're legit.
They are legit. And I talked to Charlie this week. I said, hey, man, we really can't play music without permission. But if you give me permission, I'd play your songs on the show for free just to try to pump you guys up. And so he was like, absolutely. He said, just be sure to tell them who they're listening to. So that's Muscadine Bloodline. And they're awesome.
That's who they are. Go check them out on YouTube. But
oh, yeah, check them out.
Listen to they got a ton of good stuff out there.
A lot of good stuff. And so we're going to talk a little NBA playoffs tonight with the NBA playoffs starting up this weekend. And we're going to do a little bit different kind of show tonight. We're going to do half the show is going to be about the Eastern Conference. And then we're going to have a halftime, and then we'll go over to the second half where we talk about the Western Conference. So let's kind of go through the East here, and I'll let you go first and tell me what you like and what you don't like so far.
Well, first of all, just one thing about the NBA playoffs in general that I saw today is that it's the biggest opening weekend as far as ratings go for the playoffs. So the NBA is winning right now. A lot of people are watching. Everybody's excited. And so far been a lot of good games. And one of those good games was today in the Eastern Conference with the Celtics and Bucks, where Bucks kind of got off to a slow start. And Celtics were, everybody's kind of counting them out, which I'm one of those people. But they showed a lot of guts today, and they traded buckets right there at the end. Terry Rozier shook Eric Bledsoe so bad today. I think Bledsoe's walking a little funny right now.
Yeah, he needs some ice for those ankles.
Oh, my gosh, that was brutal. Bledsoe just turned around and stared at him like, man, how you doing me like that? And then he hit the go, or what would have been a go-ahead three before Middleton hits one at the buzzer. And Celtics take game one in overtime. Then the biggest shock was probably today, the Pacers just absolutely running over the Cavaliers.
They destroyed Cleveland.
At Cleveland. I mean, they took it right to them.
Yeah, they did.
And they're a tough-minded team. I mean, they're a team that could give a lot of people trouble just because of the way they're going to play. And they got tough dudes on that team. Sabonis and Turner, big, tough, strong guys, Young, and the rest of the front court. And then you throw in guys like, Victor Oladipo. They got a nice group that could be scary.
And let's kind of pause right there and just say, if you go back a year ago, Kevin Pritchard, the GM of the Pacers, got killed for his trade of Paul
Murdered,
George.
yeah.
Everybody, what an idiot. Oh, my gosh, he didn't get enough back. I mean, not only – I think he may have got the best player in that deal. I would say Oladipo is as good or better than Paul George, and he's younger too. And
he's probably in the same tier.
He's in the same tier, exactly, and he's younger. I mean, he's as good as Paul George. They're a different position. But as far as an impact player, he's proven that, that he's an impact player. And then they also got Sabonis out of the deal, who's a nice young player. And Oklahoma City is going to watch Paul George go to the Lakers this summer. So, I mean, I think that –
yeah, they probably lost the deal.
He did a great job in this trade, and I agree with you. I like their team.
And the Pacers, to me, are the overachieving team of the year. They overachieved more than anybody, probably.
I agree.
They weren't supposed to even be in the playoffs. They're the 4th seed, and or the 5 seed, and they just completely blew the Cavs out in Game 1 at Cleveland. So, a lot of guts and a lot of heart on that team, and they play hard, and like I said, they're tough dudes. And then, one that we're going to watch closely is that Wizards-Raptors matchup.
Absolutely.
Where they've seen each other a couple times in the playoffs the last few years, where the Wizards have been successful against them. I don't think the Wizards played well at all yesterday.
They played terrible.
They were still right there in it with a few minutes to go.
Well, they had the lead at halftime. And I don't want to pause right there because I want to say, I'm looking at ESPN.com right now. And I'm looking at the Wizards, and this is what drives me crazy about the NBA right now, is that, top performers. John Wall, 23 points, 15 assists. Okay, that's the headline. And people will
That's
see
good,
that.
if you just look at that, that's awesome.
Hey, that's a good game. 23 points and 15 assists. But if you just open up the box score, John Wall was 6 out of 20 from the floor. And he had 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Well, and to go further, there's still going to be people that say, oh, that was a good game. If they didn't watch, that's still a good game. Maybe he missed those shots because they were tough, contested, and, his team wasn't really helping him out, and that's why he had the turnovers. But if you watch the game, he missed layups. I mean, just flat-out layups, one-on-one, fast break type of layups, where a lot of times, I don't know if he was even trying to score. He would just jump right into a defender and, fall down and get mad he didn't get a foul call. Or a lot of times.
John Wall is, he's, you and I have talked about this before, and anybody who reads the site and follows what we talk about, I've said this 100 times. But, there are 30 NBA teams, and in theory, every NBA team could have 2 what we call max contract players, okay?
Yeah.
That would mean there are 60 max contract players in the NBA. And I would argue that there are only at any given point in time between 5 and 7 guys in the league that are max contract players that deserve that money. And John Wall is
guys
a perfect
that can get you to a title.
Yeah, there's only between 5 and 7 guys in the league that will give you a realistic shot at a title. It doesn't even mean they're all going to win it. And I'll dial it back and I'll use history as an example. Look at when Michael Jordan was in his heyday when they won their 6 championships. During that 6 championship run, of course, he took off and played baseball for a year, and so they had a 2-year window in the middle. Okay, during those 8 years, Michael Jordan obviously had a chance to win a ring, and Hakeem Olajuwon obviously had a chance to win a ring. Okay, those are 2 guys. Other than those 2 guys, I would argue you had Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, maybe Shaquille.
Shaq. You got to put him in there. He's in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm talking realistic guys that realistically had a shot at it.
Maybe Clyde.
Yeah, maybe. That's what I'm saying. And it's like, and everybody who has a shot is not going to necessarily get over that hump like a Barkley or a Ewing. But by God,
they got to go through each other.
They had a shot. They did. They had a shot to win it. And my thing is, for a chance, I'll pay the money. But if we don't have a chance, but this is what's wrong with the NBA right now, the one thing I wish they would fix, and that is you got a team like the Wizards, you've got some decent young players, and it's like, okay, do we pay this? Do we pay a John Wall, a Brad Beal, an Otto Porter, who's our guy? Do you pay them, or do you let them walk and start over again? So I understand paying the money and just not letting guys walk. The problem is when the price tag, like John Wall's going to make $40, $50 million a year or whatever, and the guy is just flat out not a winner, period. He's not a winner. And I would love to argue with anybody who would say otherwise. He's just not a winner. Kind of like I said.
To me, he's a horrible decision maker.
Horrible decision maker. You're not going to win if that guy's your best player. You're just not. Just like years ago I said about Carmelo Anthony. Like when they were in that run, and you had LeBron, you had Wade, you had Melo, you had Kobe, Tim Duncan, like a different crop of guys that were, KD was kind of on the fringe coming up. And I said, Melo is a fake in that group. He's imposter. And this is at the time I was actually writing for the Bleacher Report. And I put this article out that the Knicks would never contend, let alone win a championship. Like, he's not a championship player. He's not what I call a winning player. And, I mean, I got killed by Knicks fans. But let history, the beauty of hindsight, help us out here. I was right. And when it comes to John Wall, I'm going to be right again. And so I don't think they have a chance in this series, and they should. I mean, that's what I
was going to say. I think they do have a chance. They've got a shot. I mean, they split this year 2-2. I mean, that regular season playoffs are a totally different thing. You're looking at, back-to-backs during the regular season, so guys might be resting or taking a ton of plays off. But nonetheless, they still split. They're familiar with each other. They, the Raptors won against the Wizards, C game, and that was with guys like C.J. Miles and Serge Ibaka making like total of 8 combined threes or something. So there's going to be adjustments made, and
I agree with you, and I'm just saying, like, I agree with everything you're saying. They should have a chance, but they don't. And I think at the end of this series, it may go 5 or it may go 6. They don't have a chance.
Right.
Like, they have no shot, and they probably, their best 7 against the Raptors' best 7 may have more talent. I think the Raptors have a better bench.
Well, and that was something I was going to say that's unique this year about the playoffs, too, that I haven't noticed in past years where, like, we're looking at the 8 seeds on both sides, the Wizards and the Timberwolves, who going into the year, just the players and the talent that they put together,
sure.
We thought top 4 teams in each conference, but now they're the 8 seed for different reasons. But, so a lot of it for both teams had to do with injuries. So I don't think the Wizards are a true 8 seed, but I do think, it's just a tough matchup. I think they got a shot.
They don't have 8 seed talent, but they underachieved more than anybody in the league.
They underachieved.
And they had injuries, but they underachieved. But
yeah, John Wall only played half the year, but still,
yeah, they had a bad year.
If you're a 4 seed, look at the Celtics.
Yeah, and the Celtics have one of the 2 or 3 best coaches in the league. I think Brad Stevens is a great coach. Of course, Pop's a great coach. I tell you something
he did today that I just love. Well, he just pick a guy every time down the court. Like, we like this matchup. We're going to go post you up.
Right.
And they post Jaylen Brown up. They post Jason Tatum up. Like, whatever guy, they're just going to post him up, and we're going to make you guard. And a lot of the time it was Horford, and this is what confused me. I don't know. Maybe you got a better take on it than me. They had Giannis guarding Al Horford today, which that's a post player and a wing player.
Well, they were probably trying to take okay, if we go the other way now, Horford's got to guard him.
And they did.
We've got a better matchup down here, but that that's the game of basketball. You just need to find one matchup that you can play through.
Horford abused Giannis in the post. He got him in foul trouble, and then on the other end, Milwaukee did not take advantage of the matchup. I thought the way they should have. Giannis would get it on the outside where
he can't shoot.
You would think he can't shoot it, but he should still get around Al Horford and get to the rim, and he wouldn't even look to attack. He'd just pass it off.
I think Brad Stevens is an equalizer. If I had to pick, I would say the Bucks are going to win that series in 7 games.
Yeah.
But I think that the Celtics do have good young players. I think Brad Stevens is a great coach. So that series is going to be good. We talked about the Wizards. I don't think the Wizards even have a shot. We talked about the Pacers. Who do you see coming back? Because I want to save the best for last, and that's Philly. I'm more excited about Philly right now.
Well,
but let's stay on the Cavs. Let's stay on the Cavs. Who's going to win that series?
The Cavs are going to pull it out. You got LeBron James on the court. You're not going to go home in the first round.
See, and
they're going to find a way.
I disagree. I think they're getting beat. Getting beat.
No, not this round. No,
they're
going to. Here's what's going to happen. They'll rebound. They'll have a big game, beat the Cavs bad, and knock them back. You beat the Pacers bad and knock them back down to earth a little bit. They're probably going to go to Indiana, tied 1-1, maybe split out there and come back and win 2.
I disagree, and I'm going to tell you why. The Cavs have the stupidest roster in the NBA. If you just look up and down their roster, they don't have any center on the roster, not one. There's not one
Tristan Thompson.
Center. He played 2 minutes today, and he's not a center anyway. He's like 6'8".
But still, and that's one thing they were talking about. Like, he's got to play.
He's not a center, and he can't play.
But he's got problems.
So you got
now.
Kevin Love.
Poor guy.
Kevin Love is your center on that team. Kevin Love's not a center.
No,
they have no center, and they don't. And I'm going to say something controversial. They don't have a small forward on their team. LeBron James is not a small forward anyway. He's a power forward.
Right.
LeBron plays the 4 now. They've got Jeff Green. They've got LeBron. They've got Larry Nance. They don't have a small forward. So you have no rim protectors, and you now have no elite wing defenders either. And so their whole
LeBron's
team.
not an elite wing defender?
No, he's not anymore.
Not when he wants to be?
He's not. He was 5 exactly when he wants to be. The problem is he
So
can't.
that's what I'm saying. Like, he's going to flip that switch.
He can't. Okay, well, what happened today? I disagree. I think he can't. I mean, he can for a play here, a play there, yeah, when he decides he wants to do it. But for a series, no, he can't do it anymore. All this stuff, he's better than he ever was, 33, he's getting better. No. LeBron doesn't play
what I
defense
think's going to
anymore.
hurt him in the long run is that he played the most minutes in the NBA this year.
Yep, I agree, and that's the thing. They have no elite wing defenders. They have no post defenders. Their whole team is power forwards and shooting guards. That's their whole team.
Yeah.
And it's
there's not a point guard. Like, of all the positions you're talking about, the point guard is they got George Hill.
I mean, come on. And so I agree with you. I think they're going to win a couple games just because LeBron will come out breathing fire one game and do what LeBron does. He's a great player. The guys around him, Love and J.R. Smith and Corver, those guys will make enough shots that, Clarkson, whatever. But I just think over the course of 7 games, this team is really, really bad. And if LeBron James was not on this team, they would be one of the 3 or 4 worst teams in the NBA.
I disagree with that. I think that if this team would get to play, take LeBron out of the equation, if they could spend a full, real season together, I think they've got pieces that could gel together well.
They've got a whole lot of 4th and 5th starters on that team. Is what they've got, a whole bunch, and they don't even have a good second player.
That's what I think they're going to have to do is Ty Lue's going to have to find his best 5 players, regardless of position, because like you're pointing out, they don't have position.
They might have 4 power forwards and a shooting guard out there.
Yeah, you got to put it out there and figure it out. And the good thing about those power forwards is at least they're athletic. Like Jeff Green's still a good athlete. Larry Nance, really good athlete.
Yep.
And then LeBron. Imagine if your lineup's Clarkson,
and
those
that's the
3,
problem
and
is
Kevin Love.
That's
not a bad lineup.
And with this matchup, the Pacers are younger. The Pacers are bigger. The Pacers
what
are
did they
more
got
athletic.
Outside of Oladipo, as far as a wing scorer?
Well, I mean, they had
Lance Stevenson's not going to kill you out there.
But he had a good game today. Bogdanovich had a good game today. They made 11 threes.
But you don't have to be an elite defender to guard either of those guys.
No, you don't. But
and one thing that they were talking about is those guys are just not in sync on defense. Like they're not all reading the same scouting report or something, or they're not all looking at the same game plan. So they'll come down one time and 2 players be involved in a pick and roll and they'll hedge on it, and then they come down next time and it'll be the same 2 players and they'll trap it. And they don't know what they're doing.
Let's get off the Cavs because they're going to lose in the first round, and let's talk about somebody who's going to win their first round series. The Sixers. And
I'm going to go out real far here and say that the other day we were talking about this, and I actually picked Raptors, Cavs, Sixers, Bucks, and then after that I picked the Cavs, the Bucks, and then I picked the Bucks being the ones to knock the Cavs off. After today, I'm a little sketchy on that, but I still see them Bucks going past this round after last night. And then news today that Joel Embiid
he's back.
Yeah, he's not going to play game 2,
right?
Unless something changes. But he's ready. He's good to go.
Yeah.
I've got the Sixers coming out of the East.
I think they're going to win the East.
I didn't want to do it. I thought they're too young. I thought somebody would find some holes.
I just want to go back to our preseason where I told you they're going to be a top 5 seed in the East. And you told me they would not make the playoffs.
No, I did not say they wouldn't make the playoffs.
We need to play the tape, and I think that if we go back, you'll say that maybe you'll say they were an 8 seed or something. But here's the thing: a lot of people didn't see this coming this fast. Nobody knew.
I didn't think Simmons was going to be this good.
Right.
Ever.
Nobody knew how good Ben Simmons was going to be, and so.
And what's scary about him? One of my former players was texting me yesterday. And said something about Simmons, and I'm like, man, he's not even good yet.
He's not even good yet.
He's not good. He's out there, and he can do great things, and he knows how to play the game. But just as far as his offensive skill when it comes to shooting, it's non-existent.
What Ben Simmons has is what we keep saying on here. Yeah, you're right. What Ben Simmons does, he doesn't have pure sweat, step back, triple, deep moves. He doesn't have all those. But what Ben Simmons has is what we keep saying. The game of basketball is about vision. And Ben Simmons has got A-plus vision. He can see the floor. Sometimes he
may try the ball when it's got to be moved.
He may do a little too much sometimes, but he's young. And most of the time he makes the right play. And every now and then he makes a play that not very many guys can make. And when you put
to me, what he does too, that's a simple genius kind of thing, is he just does what works.
Right.
He knows he can't shoot the 3.
Well, and he
knows he's not a good jump shot shooter.
Here's what I love about their team. Saric can shoot it. Covington can shoot it.
Inside out guy.
Redick can shoot it. Ilyasova
How about him getting
can
28
shoot it.
the other night?
Bellinelli can shoot it. And even Embiid, to a certain degree, can shoot it. they've got shooters all around Simmons, and it's like, yeah, he's not a great shooter, but the ball's in his hands to start the play, and he breaks you down, and then he kicks it out. So I really like what they're doing.
He's not an over dribbler.
And having said all that, I think this series is going to go 6 games because I think Spoelstra's a good coach. I think they have good players. I think it will go 6 games. There will be a little drama where Philly's got to close this one out on the road in Miami. And
that's going to be a tough thing to do.
Yeah, and so I think it'll
especially being young. Like, to me, that's what feared me about taking these guys far. They're young. Not only are they young, they've been in the league, but they haven't played a lot because of injuries. Fultz played, 8 games?
Right.
And now he's back, and like when he shoots a ball,
notice I didn't put him on my list of shooters. Notice I didn't put him.
Right. But, it looks like to me like he's a 7-year-old kid learning how to shoot for the first time and wants to shoot three-pointers. So, like, it's kind of going up good for a second, and then it gets to that point where he's got to release it. So he's looking for that extra umph, and it comes from jerking his head back a little bit and then to the side and then like an awkward push from the elbow.
Yeah, that's one of the
but he's still a good player.
He is a good player. He is. Okay, it's halftime. We're going to come back and talk about the Western Conference. Here's our halftime, Muscadine Bloodline, a song called WD-40.
On the top shelf by his toolbox, between his wrenches and his Carhartt baseball cap, there's 2 things Daddy had to have. Hold the chain up on my old swing, held up the glove box on his 86 Trans Am. A couple quick fix tricks I learned from my old man. Thought that was all I needed till you came around to loosen things up and hold them down. But the taste of your kiss on my lips, oh, it's working for me. Girl, you know your love can fix anything, like duct tape and WD-40. Your fist not broken, hold it together. Ain't good as new, but I'm a hell of a whole lot better. I was using all I had to try and patch things up. Thought that was all I needed till you came around to loosen things up and hold them down. But the taste of your kiss on my lips, oh, it's working for me. Girl, you know your love can fix anything, like duct tape and WD-40. Oh, yeah. Oh. Thought that was all I needed till you came around to loosen things up and hold them down. But the taste of your kiss on my lips, oh, it's working for me. Girl, you know your love can fix anything. Whoa, girl, you know your love fix anything, like duct tape and WD-40. Like duct tape and WD-40.
Muscadine Bloodline with WD-40. And
good one.
Man, they're awesome. Like I was saying, they have opened up for Brad Paisley, the Cadillac 3, Cole Swindle, Corey Smith, Rhett Atkins, the Band Perry, Jana Kramer, and Blackberry Smoke, not to mention Luke Combs. And so they've like I said, those guys are big time. They're on the way up. I've got to be Twitter buddies with them, and their next show is actually this Thursday. They're down in Huntsville, Alabama, so that's a little bit far drive for me and you. I'm trying to see when is the next time they're going to be close enough where we could maybe maybe get to him, and they're going to be in Tennessee a couple times, and they're going to be in Kentucky. They're going to be down in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So they got several shows coming up. Check those guys out, Muscadine, Bloodline. Let's talk about the West.
Well, I'm going to start, right now we got the Rockets and T-Wolves going on. Like I mentioned earlier with the Wizards, the Wolves are an 8 seed who we kind of projected at the beginning of the year, especially after acquiring guys like Gibson and Jimmy Butler.
Thought they'd be like a 4, 5, 6,
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in that area. And they faced injuries, but they just haven't really got it to go. They haven't clicked to me all year long. And I don't know who their player is. Like, you always talk about who's the man on the team. And is it Towns? Is it Wiggins? Is it Butler?
Well, here's what I think is going on with that team. First of all, Wiggins is not very good. Wiggins.
Well, I don't know that he's not very good. I just think he needs cut loose. Like, in terms of his playing style, like, they just need to let him go.
I think
and
what
be free.
They've hurt Wiggins. They've held Wiggins back by acquiring Butler. If you wanted Wiggins to be Wiggins, then you shouldn't have picked up Butler. If you were going
he just needs to go do him.
If you were going to pick up Butler, you should have traded Wiggins for something else. Like, those two guys don't fit together, okay? But even before that, Wiggins, even when he was at Kansas, I'll go all the way back to the beginning, he's never been what people build him to be. And
I say the same thing about when he was in high school.
Yeah, he's just never been that guy. He's not a shooter. I don't think he plays really hard. He's got tremendous talent. He can jump high, one of those kind of things. And so
should be elite defender.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he's just not an elite basketball player. And I think after being in the league for a few years, he's kind of what he's going to be. He may be a little better version of this player we're seeing now, but he's just. Butler is a beast. I mean, that guy's a beast. He's a winner. I like Jimmy Butler. I think you can win with Jimmy Butler. But I think if you look at Jimmy Butler, name me one good team Jimmy Butler's ever been on. I think Jimmy Butler's hard to play with. And then I'll get to Towns. I just don't think Towns is as good as people think he is. I mean, I think offensively, I think he's great. Yeah. But I think defensively and rebounding, he's very soft. And so if you're going to have –
I was not big on Towns coming into the league, and then he was playing well, and I'm like, okay, I like this guy. He might be better. I was starting to put him up there above Anthony Davis, and here, this year I just don't see it anymore.
Yeah, Towns is like a tier below those guys. Like, I'll give you a name. Like, back in the day when you had all those great NBA centers, when you had Shaq and Olajuwon and Duncan and David Robinson – there was a guy in the league at the time who was a really good player named Brad Daugherty, played for the Cavs. But Brad Daugherty was not on that same level, and that's kind of where I see Towns. He's not on the same level as, to me, a Porzingis. He's not on the level of an Anthony Davis. He's not on the level of an Embiid. He's just a notch below
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, I just don't think he's quite – I mean, he's really good. And so what I think is what you got, like you said, some young guys. They're young, playing with Butler, who – I just think Butler talks a lot, and he really hasn't won near at the level that he talks.
Right.
He's a good player, but I just, it's like at a certain point you have to win something. And you can't say you don't have help, and you can't say you don't have talent, and you can't say you don't have that's your coach that you're playing for. I mean, so what's the excuse?
But now Minnesota goes to their bench with a minute to go in the first quarter, and they bring in Derrick Rose.
Right.
I tell you right there, that's problematic.
That
ain't gonna work. You're going to need more than Derrick Rose. You're going to need more than duct tape and WD-40 to fix that problem.
Nice segue.
So it ain't going to work for them. I got Houston in this series.
Houston
in 4.
Houston in 3. How about that? And so
there you go.
Pelicans and Blazers. Man, Anthony Davis is good.
Surpriser there.
And I'm going to send a shout out to my boy Buck Major, who's one of our writers on our staff. And Buck, he questioned me the other day. He said, how can you say Anthony Davis doesn't move the needle, when, he doesn't have any help and he's got his team in the playoffs now? And I hear what Buck's saying, and I'm going to go back to what we just referenced with there are only a handful of guys in the NBA that realistically have a shot to win a title.
He's one of them.
I think he's not yet, but he will be. He's not
today.
He is
right now.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is. Who's the second best player on that team right now?
And that's what I'm saying. What he's done this year is super, super impressive. And I think he's finally turning that corner into the guy that we all thought he was going to be when he got drafted.
Yeah.
And he's still young. You got to remember the guy's 23, 24. He's still really, really
Right.
young. So let's cut him a little slack here.
To me, he is my MVP for the year.
He's phenomenal, and I think we're with all the talk of Giannis, and rightfully so, the guy's a great player. With Porzingis, what he was doing before he got hurt, some of the really, really good young players in the NBA, which guy would you want to have? Anthony Davis. Period. Unanimous. I mean, if anybody 25 and under, he's got a chance to be one of those guys that earns and deserves that max money that we're talking about. Whereas the guy on his team, DeMarcus Cousins, is a fraud. DeMarcus Cousins is a guy who's going to put up stats, and you're not going to win with DeMarcus Cousins. And this is proof of that. That as soon as he went down, Davis just went to another level, because you can't win with a guy who won't get back on defense. You're literally playing 5-on-4. Cousins is,
and a lot of times on offense he's not doing anything. He's just waiting for a jumper, or
he's outside shooting threes.
He'll let you do whatever.
And that's my thing. Is it's ironic that we were talking about John Wall, now we're talking about Cousins, two guys that were college teammates, and they've come in the NBA with all this hype, and they've made a lot of money, and they've put up a lot of numbers and haven't won squat. And so
exactly.
I think that series could go either way, though, because I really like the Blazers. I like their team.
I think Portland will end up winning it in 6. I think
they have more players. Yeah, I think they have more firepower, and it's just going to be asking Davis to do a lot. I'm going to say this. If Anthony Davis can win this series, because they're really outmanned. They are. If the Pelicans can win this series, I'm kind of like you. You might have to say he had the best year in the NBA this year, really, truthfully. So
right. Just to be where they're at right now, and
it's incredible.
They're going to take it to the wire in just about all these games. I don't see Portland really blowing them out in any games. But like you said, they've got too much firepower. Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, and even like guys like Evan Turner, who's been in the league for a while. They've got solid bigs. They don't have anybody that's great, but they've got really good pieces. And then you look over on the other roster, it's Anthony Davis and the other guys.
I like their team. I like how they've put their team together. I think in the 1 year of massive overspending, they made a few mistakes, but it hasn't killed them. And
they ended up getting rid of those mistakes.
Exactly. And so let's shift over here to Spurs Warriors. I mean, is there anything really to talk about here? Because the Spurs are basically like a JV team with a Hall of Fame coach. The job he did this year to get them where they're at, incredible. I just think the Warriors here, I think they're going to coast, and they're just trying to get healthy.
The Spurs got bigger problems than the Warriors right now.
Oh, absolutely.
So, that they're not going to win. I think Pop even knows they're not going to win. Like, he probably knows they're not going to win, but won't admit it, type of thing. I don't think he could find a way. As a coach, you're always thinking your team's got a shot.
Well,
I don't
if you
feel
look
like
at their starters
right now.
Their starters scored 14, 0, 5, 8, and 6. I mean, that's like a junior high team or something. Seriously. And so you turn and look at what the Warriors did. Of course, they don't have Steph right now. But if you look at what they did, I mean, Durant goes for 24, Thompson goes for 27. They still have two guys that can carry the water. You know what I mean right now. And then Draymond, he had a real strong game. Iguodala.
I think, like I said, it's just important for Golden State to get out of this series as quick as possible. And get healthy, rest as much as they can, and start looking forward to Portland or New Orleans.
Yeah, and then the last game would be, of course, Oklahoma City, and we kind of mentioned them earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about that series right now?
OKC won today. I think they end up winning by 7. Paul George has a huge game scoring-wise. But to me, I just don't know. Like, I like them and I don't like them. Because I could see where they could go deep with Russell Westbrook, ultimate competitor, kind of do it all, even, pad his stats a little bit. And Paul George can guard, he can score. Then you got Carmelo, who's just going to score when he gets going, but he's going to hurt you defensively. I tell you, the piece I really like on that team, and I know you do too, is Steven Adams.
I love Steven Adams.
He gives him and Westbrook just give a team a type of toughness that like we were talking last night, they should just bully teams.
Let me ask you this. I know we're both fans of Game of Thrones. Don't you think Steven Adams would make the best Game of Thrones character of any NBA player?
He would fit very well in the, how do you say the tribe?
Dothraki?
The Dothraki.
He could be a Dothraki warlord, don't you think?
Yeah, just like them.
Yeah. And
yeah, and that, you know what, I got to go with them unanimously now. I mean, just because Steven Adams is Game of Thrones approved.
Well, I mean,
But I do have them winning the series. Utah's a scary team that they'll guard so well. Donovan Mitchell he's a very good player. And, playing against a guy like Gorbet, whatever, and, they're a tough team to go against. And in OKC, with all these pieces they're trying to put together.
That game got away from Utah in the middle of the game there. It was close. It was an 8-point game, but they just gave up a little ground in the middle of the game. I think when they're at home, they're going to win a couple. I do.
Yeah.
I think this is a 6 or 7 game series. What worries me is Westbrook taking 25 shots.
Yep.
And Paul George is 8 of 11. He's probably not going to go 8 of 11 from 3 again. And then like you said, Cal Steven Adams. I just don't know if he can. I don't know if he can stay on his horse against Rudy Gobert, and so it's
Gobert's
and we
a different
know
type of
when he can't ride his horse anymore, he can no longer be Cal, and so
right. Well, to me, it's going to be OKC. They're a team that's kind of got to beat themselves.
Sure.
In this
series,
not in the next series against Rockets. Rockets can beat them,
right?
No problem. But OKC's they're one end of the spectrum type of team on either side. They can go play with anybody in the West.
See, I think in the next series,
Utah.
if Oklahoma City plays Houston, here's what I want to see happen. Just like I said, what worries me is Westbrook taking 25 shots. Here's what I want to see happen in the next series. I think Westbrook should go the opposite direction and say, because Houston doesn't play very good defense, and the game is going to be so wide open, and he's the one guy, if you get in a wide open series and give him open court,
oh yeah,
he's unbelievable. I want to see Westbrook shoot it 40 times a game in that series, because I'm serious. I think he could average like 45, 13, and 12 in that series, and they could he could actually be just full Westbrook.
And if that happens, the looks that guys like Paul George and Carmelo come
exactly,
yeah.
Because there's going to be enough possessions that when he takes 25 shots, well, Carmelo's only getting 13 looks, and some other guys are getting 3.
And that's Utah, a defensive team.
That's right. And so what's going to happen when you get in a series where it just turns wide open? Everybody's going to get their looks anyway. So it's just got to be like, Russ, go get yours, and we're out here spotted up if they, you just absolutely get triple teamed, one of those kind of things. But I think, that gives them a puncher's chance, because he is the one guy, if you put in just constant open court situations, that he could kind of neutralize some of what Houston does, and maybe get them into a little bit of anything you can do, I can do better mode, where it's like,
him and Harden going
is
at
great,
each other.
But then Harden's all of a sudden doing stuff, and it gets him out of their flow a little bit. And so I don't know. But the first round, there's some really good games. Right now, I still think it's Golden State coming out of the West. And I'm like you. I think Philly's coming out of the East. I really do. I just think they've got 2 superstar players, and the rest of their roster is really good, and they can shoot.
And they're veterans, those other guys, outside of Fultz and Sarge.
Covington's been around. Sarge has played a lot.
And it's
Bellinelli.
like veterans that know their role
exactly.
and do it well.
Exactly.
Covington, good 3-and-D guy. I think this is kind of the best basketball I've ever seen J.J. Redick play in the NBA.
Well, I think what you're seeing is when he played with Chris Paul, specifically, he was a good player, but I think what you're seeing now is like almost there's so much more talent with Embiid and Simmons. There's so much more talent on this team than any team he's ever played with, and they are young, so they defer to him a little bit more. He's not like a fourth option, and that's a weird thing to say because he's definitely a third option, between those two guys. But the difference is there's parts of the game where because he's so much older than them, I think they're just like, hey, get us a bucket right here. And he's comfortable in that role, and they are comfortable in him in being in that role. Not, a guy that Chris Paul yells at when he misses a couple in a row. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
yeah, I think he's just loose and free right now. And like he had 28 or whatever last night. We know he can fill it up. And Bellinelli and who's the other? Ilyasova.
Right. They've got
Both
shooters.
of those guys played huge.
They've got shooters everywhere.
They're dangerous, and it's not just because of Embiid and Simmons, but.
And, and that's the thing about it is if you look at if Fultz can get himself ironed out here, okay, in the offseason between now and next year, okay, you got to look and see these guys are so young, they're all just going to get better. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're all going to get better. Embiid, Fultz, all of them. But then when you start looking around, man, they're going to have a draft pick in a really good draft where they're going to get to add another piece. They've got 2 first-round picks, and then they've got a couple pretty high second-round picks. And so
right.
I'm looking at the mock draft right now, and it says that they're going to pick Colin Sexton, which, no, they're not. I mean, whoever
that'd be an awful idea.
Whoever made this, that's just a bad idea. And
what type of player do they go for there then?
Well,
I think a J.J. Redick type of guy.
Kevin, you got behind that. You got Kevin Knox, no. Gilgeous Alexander,
no.
Miles Bridges of Michigan State. I actually like that pick.
Maybe.
I like that one. Lonnie Walker from Miami.
No.
Here's one that I also like that would be interesting. Robert Williams of Texas A&M.
Big?
Yeah. He's just so athletic. Give him another body inside. I mean, because you got to think, whoever they pick is not necessarily going to be a starter right away. He's going to be a top 8 rotation guy who in 2 years may be a starter, something like that. Here's another name to keep an eye on in the draft, Anthony Simmons, okay, which we haven't done a draft show or anything yet, but he's another one to keep. And here's why all this stuff is stupid, okay? You got I'm just going down through here. They got on this one they've got DiVincenzo from Villanova.
He's not on there.
He's the 23rd pick.
Oh, because of one great game?
And Jalen Brunson is the 29th pick. I mean, gosh,
unbelievable.
Come on, guys. I mean,
off of one game.
You know what? Technical foul.
Keep him up for that.
On DraftNet. That's a technical foul.
Gosh.
And they've got Doncic going 4th to the Hawks. That's a technical foul. He's not going 4th. They've got Porter going 5th, and then they've got Trae Young going 6th. I mean, can we just stop saying that already? I mean, he's not
right.
Trae Young's not going to go that high. He's just not. And,
it would have to be a team that just absolutely needs and wants a point guard. Like, it wouldn't be the craziest thing, but I mean, who is that 6th pick?
Ricky Rubio, Johnny Flynn. That's all
exactly.
I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Just stop it. Just stop it already. And so yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Philly though. They get a couple picks to where let's look at this other one here and see. It's got them picking Miles Bridges. Okay, so this one's a little smarter.
Where's that second first-round pick at?
It's the first pick is actually they've got the 10th pick, and then their other pick would be 26th. And they got him picking some German guy, which wouldn't be. But I mean, my thing is,
if you get him in the second round.
If you're 26, yeah, exactly. If you're 26 and say that you're down there in that part of the draft, and I'm not seeing, the guy Brunson coming off the board yet.
That's what I was about to say. I'd taken him.
I'm taking somebody like that. I mean, no doubt about it.
A winner.
They've got a couple of picks here they've got the 38th and 39th picks. So again, maybe stash a couple Europeans or you get some guy who fell. But the point being, all your picks are not going to hit. But just look at what Toronto did by adding OG, Abinoy, however you say his name. Yeah, he's a starter for them. He's a defensive stopper for them. Like, instead of looking at these mid-round picks as just throwaway picks or, I'm going to draft somebody on potential, the Sixers are in a championship window starting next year.
They got to draft smart.
They got to draft guys who are going to be, you got to think, if this guy's a good player, you only got him for 4 years, and then you have to pay him or let him go. So you need to draft guys that in this 4-year window can help you win a championship. And so don't draft guys. Don't throw these picks away. So I think that'll be really neat. So not to get into a whole draft talk because that wasn't the object of tonight, but we wanted to talk a little playoff basketball with the playoffs going on. And so we appreciate everybody tuning in. And if you haven't checked out the site in a little bit, we do have some new writers that are on there. We recruited Buck Majors from SemoBall.com fame, and Buck he wrote a great article for us about college basketball recruiting, and just amazing the level of detail he had in the
article. I think that stuff right there is his wheelhouse. If anybody's ever followed on Semo Ball with the stuff that he does as far as college recruiting and like just the whole AAU scene and the prep school scene, like he could probably get into another level that might be more than you and I.
Right.
Because he really looks into that stuff. So, I'm excited about the stuff that he's going to put out on there.
That's right. So that'll do it for tonight. We appreciate everybody tuning in, and we're going to let Gary and Charlie take us home, the boys from Muscadine Bloodline. And this is actually a live performance. There's nothing better than live music, right?
Right.
This is a live performance song that's called I Can't Tell You No. And so thanks, everybody, for tuning in. JWT.
It's no. The song's called I Can't Tell You No. Well, I can tell you it took a little longer with your makeup. Well, I can tell you that when you wake up, you don't need to do a thing. Well, I can tell you who's left standing on The Bachelor. Well, I can tell you that there'll be laughter from my buddies making fun of me. Problem staying in, don't mind blowing off my friends now and then. It's like I don't even wanna go when you look at me that way. There's that one word I can't say, but I know you know. I can't tell you no. Oh, girl, I can tell you wanna dance slow in the kitchen. Well, I can tell you, well, that you're fixing to see my two right or two left feet. 'Cause I got no problem staying in, don't mind blowing off my friends now and then. It's like I don't even wanna go when look at me that way. There's that one word I can't say. Well, I know you know. I can't tell you no. Whatever you wanna do, whatever you listen to, wherever you wanna go, girl, you already know. Whatever you wanna do, whatever you listen to, wherever you wanna go, girl, you've already know. I got no problem staying in, don't mind blowing off my friends now and then. It's like I don't even wanna go when you look at me that way. There's that one word I can't say, but I know you know. I can't tell you no. No, I can't tell you no. Oh, I can't tell you no. It was our attempt at a